Hi, this is Arbitrage Scanner. Today you learn about the complexities of various cross-exchange arbitrage strategies in a ranked format. Let's not waste time, here we go. What do we actually mean by a strategy complexity? In cross-exchange arbitrage, a strategy can refer to both a general approach and specific technical actions. Here's some examples. First, general strategy. Use no more than 50% of your deposit for one arbitrage pair. And the example of specific strategy is spot plus spot, where you buy an asset on one exchange and sell it on another. What do those spot plus spot and spot plus futures mean? The principle is simple. Spot plus futures. You buy on spot and go short on futures. Futures plus spot, you go long on futures and sell the token on spot. The thing is, the order matters, so don't mix the spot plus futures and futures plus spot. These are different strategies. The hardest strategy, spot plus spot. Working with decentralized exchanges involves entirely different interfaces compared to centralized exchanges. Additionally, slippage becomes a constant companion. Slippage is the difference between the expected trade price and the actual execution price. First reason is volatility. Rapid price changes can lead to orders filling at unexpected prices. Second reason is low liquidity. If a pool has little depth, large trades significantly impact the price. The system splits your swap into multiple smaller trades, each at a worse rate as prior transactions affect the asset's price. Third reason is large order size. Big buy-sell orders can slip the price up or down. Okay, so how to minimize slippage? First, use highly liquid assets. Second, split large orders into smaller ones. And third, manually set a max slippage tolerance, for example 1.2%. Always verify token security parameters before trading. You can do this by first checking for embedded buy-sell fees, second by confirming the smart contract address, the same ticket can represent different tokens, and third by ensuring ownership renouncement. It reduces risks of contract manipulation. Use tools like DEX Screener. Check the ordered section for assets. The examples of decentralized exchanges are Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Jupiter, and 1inch. As for the examples of centralized exchanges, they are Bybit, Binance, and OKX. Now let's talk about key differences between decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges. The main distinction is in the trading process. On DEXs, you don't deposit funds on the exchange. You connect your wallet and trade directly through liquidity pools. Trading on DEXs introduce extra complexities. Wallet management, blockchain fees for every transaction, manual slippage adjustment, liquidity thresholds, scam tokens. Despite challenges, it offers unique advantages. First, transparency. Real-time liquidity visibility. Second, accessibility. Trade countless assets even if centralized exchanges are restricted in your region. Third is high profit potential. New token listings can yield 50% plus per cycle. Buying on DEX and selling on Bybit after listing like Trump. Many DEX strategies rely on listings, delistings, predictable and frequent events. DEX arbitrage is not for beginners. It demands technical skill, caution and risk awareness, but for experienced traders, it outperforms traditional centralized exchange strategies in profitability. Next is spot plus spot. This strategy involves arbitrage between two centralized exchanges. Simplified, you buy token on Bybit, transfer it to OKX and sell at a high price. Seems straightforward, but nuances exist. Unfortunately, slippage still persists, but you gain limit orders and order book liquidity analysis. The order book displays all active buy-sell orders for an asset. Bit green, buy orders, ask red, sell orders. Tighter spreads indicate high liquidity. This helps assess if arbitrage is feasible without drastic price impact. Here's your execution steps. Pick assets with over 300,000 daily volume. Confirm deposit withdrawal availability on both exchanges. Check order book depth. Ensure your volume won't cause slippage. Prefer fast block change, for example Tron, BSC, Polygon, to reduce transfer delay costs. Hedge transfer risks by shorting futures temporarily. Start calculations from the target exchange, where you sell, to gauge feasible buy volumes. If all aligns, arbitrage works. One misstep increases risk. This strategy also works for liquidity assets, ideal for small deposits. It requires even tighter precision due to shallow order books. Spot plus spot strategy isn't the most popular today, especially with futures dominating. However, it remains a viable side income during futures market lows. Meticulous traders can still profit. Next is futures plus futures, a highly convenient strategy since no transfers are needed, reducing risks. What are futures? Let me show you a simple analogy. Imagine you're selling shovels. During winter, there's a high demand on shovels, so higher prices. During summer, low demand, lower prices. If you agree to sell 100 shovels at $50 in 3 months, that's a dated futures contract. If the contract has no expiry, it's a perpetual futures, and that's our focus. The price is dynamics. Summer price is $30, winter price is $70. A long position opened in summer profits from winter's rise from $30 to $70. A short position opened in winter profits if prices drop. Perpetual futures prices usually track spot markets but may deviate due to demand imbalances. Price discrepancies for the same futures contract across exchanges create opportunities. Here's what you should do. Step 1. Identify price gaps using Arbitrage Scanner. Second step. Use 1x leverage only. This is the safe mode. Step number 3. Enable isolated margin. Step number 4. Long the cheaper exchange. Step number 5. Short the pricier exchange. Step number 6. Wait for price convergence and close both positions. Partial convergence may suffice to cover fees and lock profits. Watch the funding rate. If the rate is against your position, close before the next payout. Funding occurs every 8 hours. Monitor the timer. Favorable rates allow longer holds. The advantages of futures plus futures strategy are no transfers, low risk if executed correctly, high liquidity and minimal effort. Next is spot plus futures, beginner-friendly, popular strategy that combines efficiency and simplicity. Some exchanges, for example Bybit, even offer micro-spread arbitrage within their platforms. The key benefits are as follows. Pay fees on only one position, futures position, no asset transfers, less funding rate dependency. It's only relevant for shorts. If spot liquidity is low, transfer to another exchange. Here's execution tip. 1. Check liquidity on both markets. Second, verify funding rates for shorts. Third, use 1x leverage plus isolated margins. 4. Short futures on overpriced exchange. 5. Buy spot on the cheaper exchange. 6. Wait for price alignment. Futures prices often revert to spot prices, especially during overbought, oversold conditions. Critical note: match token quantities, not dollar value. For example, 100 unit spots equals 100 unit futures. Small spreads can still yield profits due to low fees and no transfer. Spot plus futures is ideal for beginners. Lower risk, higher comfort, frequent opportunities. And now the last strategy, the easiest strategy, funding rate arbitrage, a community favorite. While similar to futures plus futures, the focus is profiting from funding rate differentials. For example, -3% on exchange A versus -1% on exchange B. How does the funding works? Funding payments rebalance perpetual futures prices towards spot. If futures trade above spot, longs pay shorts. If futures trade below spot, shorts pay long. Payments occur every 8 hours. Execution: long the exchange with the higher funding rate. You receive payments. Short the exchange with the lower rate. You pay less. Net gain, for example, 2%, 3% earned, 1% paid. What is the risk management here? Well, first, hedge by opening positions on both exchanges. Enter for 8 hours before funding to maximize gains. Let's talk about risk management tips. First, hedge by opening positions on both exchanges. Second, enter for 8 hours before funding to maximize gains. Third is post-funding. Wait for price convergence to offset positions. there are actually 5 profit scenarios which may occur. First one is best case, where both positions profit. Second scenario, good, profits exceed losses. Third one is break even, positions cancel out, profit is your funding. Fourth scenario is bad, losses eat into funding gains. And the last one is the worst, losses exceed funding income. However, this strategy is still considered great before there are no transfers, funding works for you, and finally high liquidity on major futures. And now let's see the final ranking, from hottest to easiest. First one, spot decentralized exchange plus spot centralized exchange, complex but high reward. Second, spot plus spot on centralized exchanges, requires transfers, order book analysis. Third one is futures plus futures, reliable, funding sensitive. Fourth one, spot plus futures, beginner friendly. And fifth one, funding arbitrage, is a low risk, high reward strategy perfect for newcomers. Just monitor rates, hedge properly, and respect liquidity. Need help? Our managers can guide you through each strategy. Thanks for tuning in. This was Arbitrage Scanner. See you next time.